Let's see. Hello! I have like crazy Zoom here today. All good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the August 2021 Voiceover Office Hours. I am your coachess goddess, Karen-Eileen Gordon. Hello! Hi, Mindy. Hi, David. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Phil. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How is everybody today? Let me open up this little chat. Hello. Hi. Hello, hello. Let's admit everybody. Gonna wait another minute or two and then we will dive right in. Very nice to see everybody. Oh, goodness. It's August. How did that happen? Very happy to see you all. Summer is sort of at a midpoint, I guess. You summering? I hope everybody's summering very nicely. We're going to talk today about the power of laziness. Not something we always hear about, but very powerful and can be extremely useful for your thriving voiceover career. So we'll wait just another minute or so before diving into that. What's everybody up to? Anybody gently traveling off? COVID craziness continues. Hopefully everyone is staying safe, taking care of themselves. Pop in the chat. Let me know. Are you traveling? Are you not traveling for another decade? Where are you at with your summer? With your summer traveling? And does traveling mean to the backyard? Could be. Are you doing a day trip, a mile or two away? Where's everybody at with summer travel? Brandon just had a baby and moved into a new house. Holy cow, Brandon! Woo, congratulations. That is pretty phenomenal. Gosh. Yeah, big, here, hand heart emoji. I could do the reaction, but I'm just doing the heart emoji. Yeah, thumbs up. Wow. And you're here at Voiceover Office Hours. I am honored. I am super honored. You have a lot going on. Thank you for joining me today. Mindy says not traveling, but looking to vacay close by. Yes, I agree. A staycation is probably a very good idea right now. David, age 17th, hello, says not traveling until we get this thing vanquished. Please let that happen soon. Those of you who have been with me before know that my brother is an emergency room physician in the Northeast, and so I continue to get both very challenging and very hopeful updates from him from the front lines. So everybody, just the biggest love and prayer to everybody on the front line dealing with this insanity in any way. I don't know how to express that gratitude, and they're busy trying to vanquish this thing. Yes. Brandon says, I came highly recommended by Lori Wyman. Lori Cheryl Wyman, for those of you who didn't know that was her middle name, Lori Cheryl Wyman, Cheryl with an S. She is magnificent, and we have known each other for several years, many years, and she was one of my first supporters in terms of the on-camera film and television universe, and has since become just a dear, dear friend. I adore her. So I will thank you, Lori Cheryl Wyman. I hope your ears are burning. You're being praised. So Brandon, thank you for letting me know that. Ellen says, I just told a Portuguese voiceover actress and gave her your name. Oh, goodness, Ellen, thank you very much. Thank you. You may or may not know, even if you've been with me before, I love languages. I do speak French and Spanish and actually coach voiceover humans in those languages as well. Not Portuguese, but Portuguese is similar enough to Spanish that I know the musicality of the language, so I'm happy to talk to her about both Portuguese and English. David completely agrees with Lori Cheryl Wyman. Thank you, David H. Lawrence, the 17th. Thank you very much. It's very nice. All right, we're 4 minutes in. Let's get started. Somebody's coming online. I see that face. Hello, Miss Curtis. I'm going to mute you. Are you muted? I think you're muted. Okay, great. Ellen says you're welcome. And her friend knows some English and Spanish. Great. Perfect. So I just want to look at your lovely faces. I'm just going to scroll through. If your camera's on, if you're comfortable with your camera on, just take a look around. I so look forward to a time when we can be in the same place maybe for a deep dive voiceover weekend, maybe a voiceover spa retreat. How would that be? Let's create that, a week-long all things voiceover where you can meet each other and have a wonderful time in a vacay. That's part of my vision board. So until then, Zoom continues to be one of our besties. And can it replace in person? No, it cannot, but it really has been a lifesaver for so many of us in terms of connection and business during this time. So just know you're here with your village today. So thank you for coming to do that. All right. So let's talk about the power of laziness. Oh, yes. Go ahead and pop in the chat. Let me know. Let's take a little poll here on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is you've been so lazy people might mistake you for a piece of furniture. Has happened to me. That's 0. All the way to 10, which is like you're rocking and efforting and grinding and killing it so hard that you're not sleeping so much and you're kind of on fire with your busyness. So 0 is furniture, nice stuffed couch maybe. 10 is like you're such a blur. It's kind of like, who's that character? Is that Wile E. Coyote? Somebody told me. The Tasmanian Devil. That's who I'm thinking of. So 0 to 10, where are you? I'm going to check the numbers. Let me check where I am, too, because I'm asking you. I think I'm a nice solid 5 today. I'm a 5 today. Yesterday, I was a 12. And the day before that, I might have been a 2. I'm trying to balance it out. All right, great. I'm checking the numbers. Very nice. Everybody posting. Oh, I love them. We've got feel free to add a decimal point. Yes, absolutely. We've got a 7.8 in the room. That's very good. Let's see. For those, and by the way, hello to those of you watching the replay. Those of you in the future, hello, hello. Very glad you've joined us. I'm going to read it out for those of you because I know you won't have access to the chat. Brandon is currently a 4. Mindy's a 5. Sharon is a 7.8. I'm thinking Olympics, even though I don't think they hold up those cards anymore. I'm still thinking Olympics and decimal points. Susan's a 6. David is currently a 9, but for the last few weeks a 2. Yes, I often balance that out. I go back and forth. Iris is a 7.5. Great. Thank you very much. So this is going to be more of an interactive office hours today because I kind of want to know what's going on with you so that I can assist you more fully. How do you feel about yourself and your life, and more importantly, your voiceover universe? How do you feel about all of that when your number is closer to 0, when you are not actively efforting, when you're choosing to completely rest and come to full stop, when you've put your focus on fill in the blank, your friends, your family, your partners, your cats, your hobbies, your garden, your nice squishy couch or bed where you are taking lots of naps? Tell me about, is that great with you? Do you give yourself a hard time? Do you consider that part of the journey? Brandon says anxious. It's a very, very common response. Thank you for that. I am a recovering overdoer. And so I relate to that. I make an effort to balance out my activity and to do it very consciously. And so that leads in today to what we're going to talk about. And as always, share whatever you're comfortable sharing. Always want to know where you're at if you're comfortable sharing it. So because of the culture, and especially the entertainment culture, there's a strong belief, I'm shifting a little bit now, thank goodness. But for example, especially in the entrepreneurial world, of which I am a member, I did this insane, wonderful entrepreneurial boot camp many years ago. Thanks to, shout out to my dear friend and mentor who's in the room today, David H. Lawrence, the 17th, who basically encouraged me to get my business head on because I was, many of you know, I was like, I'm an artiste, la la la, no business, la la la, just want to do my art. I want to do my art. David H. Lawrence says, do I want you to post or do I want you to speak? Typically, I would have you post, but are people feeling, would we like to talk to each other today? Give me a yes or no. How are people feeling about chat versus talk? Let's take the temperature in the room. Let me know, because this is our village. We get to decide. Give me a little vote. Chat or post. What do we like? Either way. That's very good. Either way. Either one. Everybody's at either one. Let me let in Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Chat. You're good with talking. So those of you who are good with talking, I can unmute you or you can unmute yourselves. We can do a mixed bag today. That's very nice. So I got distracted by that beautiful level of new communication. What am I talking about? Okay, so the Entrepreneurial Boot Camp. And as a result of that, I kind of got my business head on, and being immersed in the world, in the entrepreneurial world, it is almost a badge of honor in many circles to effort to the point of exhaustion. Sort of that level of grind in the entrepreneurial world is considered something to aspire to, or noteworthy, or elevating. And I must tell you, and the only thing I can tell you is my opinion and my experience, I extremely disagree with that. I think effort for effort's sake is very overrated. It's very seductive and easy to fall into the idea that, well, as long as I'm doing something, that must be good, right? And I'm going to suggest to you that there is something on the opposite side of the spectrum that I would like you to try. And then we're going to talk about it. So those of you who know me know that I'm very interested in the world of wellness and healing. I regularly teach something called radical self-care for voiceover artists. I'm working on a course for all of you with that title, so stay tuned. I love talking about this because what I want is for all of us to be thriving, healthy, sane, balanced voiceover artists, as opposed to what I have been many times in my journey, which is how I learned, kind of the hard way, burnt out pile of goo, miserable voiceover artist. That's much less fun. So as you're growing your career and calling in more work and more clients, I want you to have the tools to continue to thrive and be happy and balanced along the way. So I'm going to give you a new idea, perhaps to some of you. This sort of rocked my world when I first heard it. There are many who believe, and this is the world of traditional psychology and the alternative world of, therapy and yoga practitioners and energy healers. So this thought that I'm going to give you is common in many fields right now. It's kind of becoming across the board. When we do anything in our world that puts us in a place of, the woo-woo term would be high vibration. So what I mean by that, puts us in a place of calmness, peace, gratitude, happiness, tranquility, bliss, if you're going to go extreme, anything, happiness. When we do anything that fills our well in that way, we are automatically flooding every other part of our world with that same energy and blasting open channels for fresh new ideas and opportunity in all areas. So what that means more specifically is when you are sitting in your garden, sitting in the beach, laying on the couch or the bed, staring at the ceiling, binge watching your favorite stuff, zoning out and feeling happy, that happiness is automatically nourishing your voiceover career. Let me say that again, because that's a little bit disruptive and world upending, in a really good way. Anything that brings you peace and joy and lightness and tranquility is automatically nourishing your voiceover career, even without you focusing directly on it. Now, does that remove the need for you to take a look at your voiceover career and figure out how to move forward? No, it does not. But I want you to know that the thing that we call relaxation or laziness or downtime or time off is actually so powerful and so important that it's busy up-leveling all other parts of our life. There is no separation. We tend to compartmentalize in this culture and many cultures because that's the way we can understand our life more easily. The truth is everything is connected. We are the ones that are the through line, the common thread in our personal life, our business life, our romantic life, our financial life, our hobby life, whatever life you want to say, they're all part of us. So anything we're doing that's nourishing over here is nourishing everything else. I want to know if anybody has anything to say about that, either in the chat or if you'd like to talk, let me know and we will unmute you and have you talk. And I might even be able to spotlight you. I think I can figure that out by now. Sharon says music to my ears. Iris says I'm okay talking. Beautiful. And if nobody has anything to say, that's fine. Hands are raised. Thank you, David, age 17. Let me go to the participants window and see whose hand is raised. David, since you pointed it out, I'm going to lower your hand and ask you to unmute. Where are you? Hello.
Hey, unfortunately, when I was a child, I was introduced to the story of Thomas Edison, who famously, whether it's true or not, did as little as he possibly could in terms of sleep and wore it as a badge of honor.
Oh.
And so that kind of, gave me a false goal for a long time. And then I learned to love naps and wondered why I fought them for so long. I mean, if little kids knew how much we'd appreciate naps when they got older,
they would have them every 10 minutes.
Yeah. So now what I feel when I feel like I need to, relax and veg is I feel gratitude, because
thank you. That's
I am able to do that whenever I effing want.
Now tell me and tell the group, please, what was it that got you from, oh my God, I've got to be like Thomas Edison and only sleep 4 hours a night, to I'm going to nap whenever the heck I want? Was there like a light bulb moment or a turning point for you?
Yeah. Rejecting wholly what Gary Vaynerchuk told everybody to do in the early 2000s, he's really responsible for that concept of grinding.
Oh dear.
And also coders who ruin their health by being up late and getting up what for them would be early. But it's like, you're really, and I've learned a lot of this from you. You're drawing from reserves that you only get replenished when you get good sleep.
Yes.
And once I started embracing that, first of all, it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
And second, I felt better.
Yes.
And I started making more money. And
let's take a moment. So when you were resting and nourishing, your income went up, your opportunities went up, and it's counterintuitive because, again, the old belief is, I have to hustle and grind in order to get this result. So to release that and lean into the relaxation and the well-filling and trust that may produce the same result or better is a big risk for many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You feel like if you're not working, you're a slug. And, letting go of that, for me anyway, was one of the biggest lessons I learned from you.
Thank you very much. I like hearing everybody's voices. Okay, how do I, so remove spotlight. I'm looking at Zoom. I'm spotlighting it on spotlight. Sharon Curtis, lower your hand and you're gonna unmute. Where are you? Let's add you as a spotlight so you can.
I think I did it.
You did it. Successful.
I did.
Hello, Sharon Curtis.
Hello. So I would like to know how to, particularly as Americans, I think we're more guilty of that than other countries in terms of the grind. How and I obviously working on it, and I just finished that course with David. Yeah. How do you take the guilt out of the equation?
That's a very good question. So I can tell you what helped me. Everybody is going to be different in terms of what shifts it for them. For David, it was like a point of, I'm going to reject this thing that I was doing or thought I knew. So it could be just a light bulb moment in terms of hitting bottom.
Getting it here before you have to hit the bottom.
Yes, I understand. Okay, gotcha. So here's what helped me. I did some research into people who have been lifelong proponents of napping and resting and relaxation. And so the thing that sticks in my mind, and there's a list of many of them, and this is an upcoming project I'm going to do because I think it's so powerful. Mr. Hilton of the Hilton hotel chains. He napped every single day of his life, whether he was working or on a vacation or resting. Every single day, 30 minutes or more in his office, he would take off his shoes and socks, lay on his couch, not to be disturbed, 30 minutes, running a multi-gazillion-dollar empire because in his mind, it was non-negotiable for him to rest, to be able to be present for the work, the play, the joy. So something that helps to shift it for me is knowing that I'm not the first person who has ever thought, gee, I mean, is it really valuable downtime, or am I just trying to goof off? Am I a slacker? So no, you're not a slacker. Now, that being said, Sharon, there is a calibration, and I know you, so I know this is not happening. But if you popped into an office hours and you were like, "Well, Karen-Eileen, I decided to take a 6 months vacation and just kind of hang out and do nothing. And I'm just going to trust the universe will pay my bills, and I'm going to nap a lot and look at the flowers," I would be like, let's have a teeny chat. Let's have a chat, because people, I mean, that's called a sabbatical, and people do take that long off, but with some planning. But that's not what you're saying. And I'm not talking about that sort of extreme all or nothing. And then after that, I'll go right back to my grind. I'm talking about exploring the idea that you might have permission to rest and relax way more than you think you do. So it's a very gentle upgrade. So if you, like me, were used to grind, not very much sleep, effort, to-do list, crossing things off, feeling there is an adrenaline high that comes from activity. But what I want all of us to do, if we're going to do intense activity, is I want it to be grounded and centered, meaning I want it to be attached to your compass so that you've decided what you're pointing at and that you're taking radically good self-care of yourself as you're efforting. And you're bookending the effort with rest before, rest in the middle if you need to, rest after. So it's a different approach to a hustle or a grind where you're taking much better care of yourself. And I'm asking you to gently practice being a little bit more aware of how you're feeling in the middle of it, when you feel you need rest, when you feel you could go another 20 minutes, when you feel you need a day off, when you feel like you're full of energy and want to go. But to circle back to your original question, I sought out other human beings, men and women across lots of cultures, who had a strong positive experience with downtime and rest and napping and had thrived, in their opinion, as a result of it. So I want you to know there's a mighty village of those people out there, including political figures we know and love, celebrities we know and love, Olympic athletes we know and love. We could talk about that because of the news this week about people stepping away when they feel like things are too much. Wow, was that a powerful thing? So that's sparked a lot of people's passion, both positively and negatively. But does that make sense? That one of the steps would be take a look around, and even in your world. So it's nice to talk to people close to you and in your circle who you feel like have either a nice handle on balancing work and rest, or if you're not sure if they have a balance on work and rest, just checking with your inner circle to see what they do, what helps them, because it's a human issue. It's a human issue. The whole thing of like how much work, how much play, how much rest. I have responsibilities, but I must take care of myself. And the story that was very popular for a long time, that's now being dismantled very slowly, is more hustle equals success. And that's really the only way. You have to get up every morning before the sun rises and get at it, or it's your fault if you're not succeeding. And I'm like, completely incorrect. Now, are there people who love and thrive on the grind? Yes. And it's funny because David mentioned Einstein, and I haven't done a deep dive, but I remember reading about it because it's interesting. And Edison, excuse me. Einstein was the same way, only 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So let me talk about Einstein because that's what I knew about. So Einstein, at least in what he relayed in places that are recorded, he loved his work so much that he didn't want to waste time sleeping. So for him, it wasn't, I'm exhausted, but I'm not going to rest. It was, I'm so on fire by these ideas or around these ideas that they are opening my eyes with joy in the morning at whatever time, and I want to leap out of bed and work. That's different. So I'm asking you to pay attention to when you're up at whatever hour with very little sleep. Is it with anxiety or pressure or joy and verve? And it's all about the internal experience, because if we were watching you on a film camera, all we would see maybe is your eyes snapping open at 4 a.m. We don't know what's going on internally with your internal temperature. So that's where the mindfulness and the awareness comes in. So it's very unique. One week it could be like, I'm exhausted and I'm freaking out over this thing, so I'm going to try and calm down and go back to sleep. The other one could be, this is very exciting to me. I'm going to get up and work on this demo, this audiobook, this audition, this course. I'm excited, so I'm going to get up and do it, and then I'm going to let myself nap. So very long answer. Helpful, not helpful?
I know, absolutely.
Okay, great.
I guess the key word would be balance.
Balance. And the only way, and I want everybody to please give themselves permission, especially we've got a new daddy in the room. I don't know if it's your first time daddy or second time, third time. No. Oh, yeah, oh, your experience, super experienced. You this is not your first rodeo. But even so, a new human being coming into the world, and those of you who are parents know about this, the rules to that game are a little different, and it's even more important to check in. How am I doing? Have I slept in the last couple of days? Do I need a little break? Do I need water? Do I need to walk outside and breathe some air? The balance.
Outside is important.
Outside is important. We're going to come to you. I want to hear from you, Brandy. We're going to come to you in just a second. So balance is very, very important. And for many of us, let me talk about myself. For me, it took quite a few crash and burns before I understood that balance was a thing. And I was going to need to try and figure out what balance was for me in different scenarios. And the reason I love giant toolkits and treasure chests is because I'm going to share what works for me. I want you to try it on. If you love it, keep it. If you hate it, dump it. I want everybody to have a giant treasure chest of things that work for them, because what works today, Wednesday, may be something that works different tomorrow, Thursday, or next week, or next month. So it is trial and error. And I want you to make as many mistakes as possible, which means you're going to be trying as much as possible. So even if you've never thought about this, and this is for you, Sharon, and for everybody and everybody listening, if you've never thought about what would a beautifully balanced, yummy day or schedule look or feel like to you? And maybe that's different And this is where the laziness comes in, because one of the wonderful versions of laziness that I love is also called daydreaming. So daydreaming literally means you're going to go into a future scenario and wander around and try it on. So that is so powerfully useful for your life and your career. I cannot say it enough. So for example, all of you could say, okay, if I were to have a beautiful, delicious, balanced day that was a work day, and it's up to you. Like, so if you're working a 40-hour-a-week job in addition to your art, great. If you're part-time or a contractor in addition to your voiceover work, great. If you're only doing voiceover, great. So whatever your day might be like, what would the most fantastic, good-feeling day look or feel like, right? And then the alternate would be, all right, well, let's say I'm taking a full-on vacation or staycation or a day off. It could be like a me day. What would that be if you get to have that? What is the me day? It could be a day with family and friends. What does that look like? But spend time wandering around in possible future scenarios and literally imagine. Try it on. This is 5 or 6 sensory. Oh, are you at a cafe? Smell the coffee. Have a taste. Are you at the beach? Feel the sand in your toes. Like, take those couple of minutes and say, like, how does that feel to me? Do I need a couple of hours with people and a couple of hours of alone time? And again, this is the theater of your mind. So there are no rules here. When you come back into the world and want to implement it, yes, there are people maybe to check with if you've got responsibilities and partners and children and pets and business arrangements, then yes. However, in the theater of your mind for the visualization, it's all about you. It's only and all about you. So you get to like have free reign there and then sort of bring it back into your world. So play. I would like you to play with those visions. And if you're having a particularly lovely day, if you stumble across a day or can remember a day in your recent past that was balanced, let's spend a moment there. Why did that day feel so good to you? What was going on? What was the breakdown of like what you did and didn't do? Just as a gentle barometer, because this is all about sleuthing. I'm going to sleuth. Such a great question. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to see everybody. All right, where we go? Brandon, do you have anything you'd like to share? Let me pin you.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Wow. Well, first of all, it's really great to meet you. Like I said, I
So
came by
nice.
your name through Lori, and
Oh,
I'm in
Lori.
Florida now. I used to be in LA. I was saying it was really nice to see David because years ago we were rep by the same agency, so it was really good to see
Did we
his
show?
face.
Were you independent artists as well?
Sorry again?
Were you at independent artists as
No,
well?
Synergy at the time.
Synergy.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm, mm, mm,
Back in the day.
mm. Very
So
nice.
yeah, I moved out to Florida a couple of years ago,
Great.
and it's been a great transition here. It was a tough transition. I'll be honest with you, but coming
Hmm.
from not knowing um, nothing but kind of the pursuit in LA. So like
Yes.
Florida, talking about rest, like it's a lot slower pace out here.
Yes.
However, I started auditioning a lot when I got out here too, so I got some rep
That's
out here,
good.
which was great.
Good.
Obviously right now it's a lot slower and everything, but at the beginning of the year I kind of took a back uh, uh, put myself on the back burner a little bit because there was a
Hmm.
lot of stuff that I was focusing on.
Yeah. And you
Just
made a
kind of
move as well. I don't know
yeah,
when the
yeah,
move, and that move is a
exactly.
big deal. Hmm.
So big
Yeah.
transitions. And I think for me, kind of in answer to Sharon's question about like kind of how do you get rid of the guilt and everything, I think I
Mm.
still can, struggle with that at times. And like I said before in the chat, that anxiety is something that I can definitely
Yeah.
struggle with too. Am I doing enough for
Yeah.
my career right now? But I always have to get back on track with just an acceptance of like where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
And I can get on board with that. I don't know if you're spiritual or kind of what you
Oh yes,
subscribe
you
to,
haven't known
but
me
like
very long, but yes, I'm
okay,
a wildly spiritual goddess. So
yeah.
go for
So
it. Hmm.
so the Sabbath is a big thing in
Hmm.
Judeo-Christian values and
So
everything.
explain it
So
if you would for the people
yeah,
who
yeah.
maybe not don't know. Hmm.
Sure. Sabbath comes from ancient uh, Judaism, and from the very beginning, God built, created the earth in 6 days and rested on the seventh, and that was a command that He gave to His people,
Mm,
to take the Sabbath, and you start looking at that, and a lot of people, I think through the ages, we as man have adopted that into kind of um, a rule and regulation, but it's like, why did
mm.
God ask us to take the rest? And there is an importance
Great
in
question.
taking that rest and being filled so that we can go out and do the work that we were created to do.
Love that.
Um, so yeah, the Sabbath, that Sabbath idea has been very important to me, and um, I think, yeah, like I said, just the acceptance of, I was in a phase of, um, buying a house. I don't even want to go into with our house buying because I don't know if any of y'all know in LA it must be nuts, but out
Yeah.
here too, just the real estate industry is insane.
My
And
father's a broker, so I'm
okay,
aware,
okay,
and I
you
think all
know,
over the country it's going a little bonkers.
it's bonkers. It is
Yeah.
bonkers. So
Yeah.
it is a miracle that we are in the play. I'm so happy, and
Congratulations. Yeah, it's a
so
big deal.
it's a big breath of fresh air, big relief. I got to take a sigh of relief just finally being able to close on a house after we had the first house that we were under contract with. It just was a disaster. And anyway, that whole thing, and then the baby coming on top of that was
Baby.
crazy too. And
Hi, baby.
so being able to just kind of breathe in, and
Mm,
I think also through the process, like having those little check-ins of like, doing what I could, the small things that I felt that I can manage, and
yes.
things like checking in. I would check in with Lori Wyman's office hours. She has hers
Yes.
every Thursday, and
She
so
did have them
I
every
could do
Thursday during the
that.
pandemic. They're once a month
Yeah.
now, but she did it for almost a
Yes.
full
Yes.
year
Exactly.
every week.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I'd be able to kind of check in with that, and that was like, I can do this. I can be
Yeah.
connected. I can stay connected, and so
Yes.
finding those things, so those little steps of continuing to be involved, and also just allowing myself the space to be where I'm at, so that I can be recharged and renewed to get
Hmm.
back into taking the action, like
Hmm.
you know. Coming into something like this where I had no idea what to expect. I just saw it on, on Lori's
So great. It's
uh,
brave,
page, and I was
brave, and
like, I'm gonna
wonderful.
jump in and see what's up. So I appreciate that.
I'm
So
so glad
thank
you're
you.
here. It's very nice to meet you and
Yeah,
welcome. And
thank you.
this this is a real village, and you've mentioned so many things that I love. And one of the things my ears heard the most was about breathing and being where you are. And those of you who have been here before, and if we have time, we can actually do some. Part of what I teach on radical self-care is a couple of breath techniques that in like 30 to 60 seconds can like boost your peace and vanquish your anxiety pretty quickly. So I'm happy to talk about that. Here, let me see if I can. There we go. Oh, stop
Yeah,
that.
I'll say during the pandemic, I took a course on a little kind of a brief mini course on Tai Chi, and I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff
so
is
good.
amazing.
It's amazing. And so it's a really good exploration. And for all of you, if there's anything you've ever been drawn to, gee, what about meditation? Gee, what about yoga? Gee, what about breath work? Gee, what about the chakras? Or you can always reach out to me because I love talking about all of that. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Reiki master. Reiki is Japanese energy healing. I've been doing that for almost 2 decades. A yoga instructor, restorative hatha, meditation leader. So I'm all about what is going to make us feel calmer and peaceful and more joyful, because what that does is it makes us more accessible to our beautiful creativity, where we want to show up as fully ourselves as possible and with a full well as possible. And my friend and acting coach, Michael Kostroff, who David also knows, talks about the gift of just kind of looking around and going, today, whatever date it is, Wednesday, August 4th, 2021, this is where I am in my voiceover career. And I have a career. This is it. I'm in it. This is what it looks like today. And to meet that with acceptance and even gratitude, and to look around for the gifts in that, rather than the horrible, nasty beastie of comparison, which is, yeah, but I should be over there. Or, yeah, but that guy or that dude or that human is over there, and why aren't I there? It's such the inner mean girl or mean boy. And it just takes some awareness to say, no, inner meanness. You're going to go in the corner with a blanket and a cookie, and I'm going to be nice to myself because that's what's true. Yoga, yes. Mindy says it's a mental issue. Yes, Mindy, it is a mental issue. Lots of things are mental issues. And for those of us who, like myself, have spent a lot of time in the world of anxiety, I'm very interested in things that help the brain. And something that I want to encourage everybody to do is some daydreaming. Some people love vision boards. For those of you who don't know, it's basically any kind of format you want. It can be a poster board, it can be a journal, it can be something electronic that you put together on your computer, but it's images or words or phrases that you really like, that light you up, that feel good or peaceful or nourishing to you, that are about the things that you'd like to call in, or manifest is sort of like the spiritual word, but it basically means the things you'd like to show up in your world. And you put it in a place where every time you look at it, you just feel nice. You look at it and you're like, oh, that image reminds me of the agent I'd like to have, or that word reminds me of the level of income I'd like, or, and there's no limit here, but it's really lovely. I use them. So many of my friends and colleagues use them. So it's a fun thing to explore. It brings us back to the time of arts and crafts and cut and paste and glue sticks and Elmer's glue and all the crazy, and glitter, if you want, from the time when we were a little younger. So I want to put this out here and see how this feels to all of you. There's something really nice that I've discovered. I discovered it in one of my villages, called the Creative 15. And the idea is to do 15 minutes with yourself or with a group. I like it with a group, so I'm going to suggest that we can either do it today, if it sounds nice to you, or we can plan it for a future office hours. But it's basically, you literally choose something that you're going to do for 15 minutes that is not results oriented. Let me say that again. Holy guacamole. Something for 15 minutes that feels creative and juicy and nice to you, that is not results oriented. Here's some examples in the group that I was in of some things that people did. And you're in the Zoom group, so we're here today. You'd all be on mute. I would set the timer, and for 15 minutes, we would all be doing that on our own thing in our own Zoom squares. You could sing some karaoke. You could lay on the carpet and stare at the ceiling. You could paint or draw. You could get up and do a dance. You could go outside and stare at the flowers. You could make some coffee. You could anything that feels creative to you. You could make a sandwich. You could free draw anything you want with a crayon or pen or pencil. It doesn't have to be voiceover related. If it feels yummy to you to listen to some voiceovers or to edit something, great, but it's not about let me finish this in 15 minutes. It's like let me do something for 15 minutes that feels good to me, and at the end, I'm complete. That's the whole thing. It's 15 minutes. And some folks like this so much they make a date with themselves. They do it once a week or once a day if it feels really good. But this is in the realm of what we would call laziness is actually sort of a superpower when it's directed in a way that feels nourishing and good for us. So tell me how you feel about that. We have about 15 minutes left. I'm happy to talk today. It's wonderful to see you and hear you. If anybody wants to try the Creative 15, we can. It's something we can bring back. Pop in the chat and let me know where you are with that today. And you can't hurt my feelings. So I love it. Great. I hate it. No, that's terrible. Mindy says it sounds like fun. Okay. Everybody pop in a like yes or a no, and we'll do a group conscience here. David's okay. Thank you for being in, David, if you want. Tasha, yes. Susan sounds cool. Okay, great. Brandon's down. Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, so if you want to share what you're going to do for 15 minutes, you can pop it in the chat. If you don't, we'll just know that you're doing your thing for 15 minutes. And so I'm going to set my timer, the Magical Harp of Destiny, for the 15 minutes. Here we go. And please remember, those of you who've been with me now, I'm a big fan. Intense learning and intense, beautiful creativity can dehydrate you. I want you very hydrated. Takes energy, so tightly capped hydration to protect your electronics. And if you disappear off the Zoom square because that's what you want to do for your 15, great. If you want to turn off your camera for 15, that's great. I say let's try it. So let's see, David says I'm really calmed by pair matching games. So that's what I'll be doing. Pair matching games. Oh, that's fascinating. And at the end, Ellen's going to dream and close your eyes. I love that. So at the end of the 15, I'll come back with the Magical Harp of Destiny and we'll just check in and see how that was for all of us. I'm going to sing some karaoke. I'll be on mute, so you won't be hearing me. But I don't mind being on camera. So I'm going to be singing some karaoke on camera. I'm going to put that here. Karaoke. And if you're in the middle of your Creative 15 and you decide you'd like to do something else, do it. If you do a minute of this and 3 of that and 4 of that, it's undirected. It's what feels good to you for 15. So here we go. And our 15, I'm going to mute us and I'll come back in 15 minutes. Happy Creative 15, everybody. The magical harp of destiny. Gently come on back, everybody. And if you're so in your groove that you want to keep going, please do. Please do, please do. This is a really, really beautiful exercise. So how was that for everybody? Pop in the chat, tell me. 15 minutes of creativity for many of us, since we were a kid, unless we're artists and do this on a regular basis, it's a return to something that's very well-filling. And again, you're sovereign. You can do 1 minute of this, 3 minutes of that, 4 minutes of that. You can do absolutely nothing for 15 minutes, which is very nourishing, by the way, powerful. I had fun doing my karaoke. I love singing country music. In some other life, I was a country singer, so I did that. And then I followed sort of my intuition. Then I did some heart-centered breathing, which I can teach at another office hours if you're not familiar with it. Iris did some yoga and some breathing. And if you're still in, please don't worry about coming back and telling us how you're doing. Please continue. Susan says she likes doing the few minutes. Okay, yes, we know. Thank you. We like. She likes doing a few minutes here and there. Exactly. It's like a little smorgasbord of whatever feels good to you. But the thing that was most mind-blowing to me was that it's meant to be completely not goal-oriented. So much of what we do, even there's some wonderful systems in place where you do 20 minutes on and 20 minutes off, or 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off when you're moving through tasks and to-do lists and your goals and your strategy. This is very complementary to that, but is at the other end of the spectrum. This is 15 minutes where it's completely wildly unstructured. And if you want to stop in the middle and lay on the floor, that's what you do. And that's also extremely nourishing. Mindy colored in a mandala book. Oh, that sounds really good. Sharon was with her fur babies. Hi, everybody. This was, oh, there it is. Hi, Mindy. There it is. That's so cool.
I'll share.
Brendan, yes. Yes, sir.
So the first couple minutes, I had to go take care of my daughter in the bathroom. So I cleaned her up, sent her off back to her nap.
Good. What good dadding?
So I was looking for something in particular that I wanted to do. I'm actually I like mapping out like dungeons, D&D stuff, which
how
I like
cool
doing.
is that?
However, I didn't find what I wanted to. And instead, I came across this book right here, and this is a great book. I haven't done a lot in it, but it's called Listography, and it's basically your life in lists. And I was like, I can really do this. And so I turned to this page and it says list people you've lived with. And so I went through back my memory and just spent the time just remembering all the people that I've lived with. And it was great. And I think what was really cool about the exercise was because I never give myself permission to just like, sit and do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I'm always like, well, I can't do that right now. I got to do something that is results oriented, right? So it was really good to just give myself the permission to sit in this book and do something that I've been intending to do. And I think that's, for the most part, a lot of those things that like I want to get around to that, but I never give myself the permission to do it. So
thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so glad that everybody was in to try this on. We can do this as part of office hours. You can do this on your own. I'm actually playing around with the idea of having a creative 15 drop in once a week, once every other week. So I'm playing around with that. So I'm so grateful everybody went along on this journey, and I'm glad it was nourishing. And most of us, until we're reminded that we have this freedom, forget about it. And it's just so, so powerful. Anybody else? I know we're right at the top of the hour. I want to keep us mostly to our beautiful office hour. Anybody else have anything they want to share about what that was like for them? Checking. Let me do the participants. Hold on. Let me get there. Where's my beautiful participants window? There you are. There you are. This was divine. This was divine. And I know I said this in the email to many of you. I'm winding down on the pre-enrollment interviews. If you're interested in the 90-day voiceover mentorship that I'll be doing after Labor Day, drop something in the chat if you want some more information, and I will get to you. We'll do a little Zoom chat one-on-one. This was such a joy to be here with you today and launch our August. And I really appreciate all of you. This fills my well to be here with you and explore how to be thriving, awesome voiceover artists. And in my view, anything that helps us with that also nourishes our life pretty deeply. So Everybody, take yourself off mute and say goodbye. Let's do it. Let's see. Can I unmute you all? I probably could. Unmute
It was a
everyone.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Have a very good month. Take very good care of yourselves, please. And I'll see you in September. Very bad karaoke.
Nice.
Bye, everybody. Much love. Take good
Bye.
care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.